Hi guys, and welcome to episode 2 of Honestly Alice. I want to say a very, very big thank you for all of you who have listened, shared, and subscribed to Honestly Alice. You know, it's such a humbling thing to know that people are receiving and sharing my dreams with open arms. God has been nothing short of amazing in my life, and to think it's only the second week of 2016, I am pumped. So as you know, I launched last week and I was so hyped. I was so excited about it, and people, kept telling me how great it was. However, there was one person I needed to listen and hear it and give me her honest opinion. My mother. At the time of the launch, she and my dad, who both live in Kenya, had gone to our village home in rural Kenya, and thus had no access to internet until they came back to the city. Once they were back, I talked to my mom via WhatsApp. Yes, you can call Kenya for free using WhatsApp. And I asked her, "Ma, did you listen to it? Did you like it? How was it?" Her response, "It was okay." Now, side note, if my mother says it's okay, it's just a polite way of her saying, "Alice, what is this mediocre stuff? This isn't what you're about. When you told me about Honestly Alice, it had a raw punch to it, and, I loved it, and I was like, yes, baby, go get them. But this, you don't stand out, you're just like everyone else." Granted, she never said all those exact words, but I know my mother, and if you know my mother, then you know, and you'll trust what I'm saying, that those were probably, the words in her head. But trust me, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. My mom is the definition of honesty, and she just has this way of letting you know that that dress you're wearing, it's so ugly, but she'll say it with a smile on her face, and somehow you don't get offended. Sometimes I think it's the mom effect, but I digress. So I'm talking to her, and I ask her what she thought about me giving recipes at the end, and she said it's okay. Now, when mom says it's okay twice in the same conversation, something has to change. So she said it's okay, but that isn't what makes you stand out. I tried to explain to her that I had to be relevant, I had to talk about current things, so New Year's resolution, a word for 2016, a happiness jar was so relevant. And she agreed with me. Yes, I thought, I'm finally getting through to her. Yeah, then she blindsided me with her next comment that had me dying of laughter. I swear, this woman, she's an undercover comedian. So she says, "Yeah, but you know what honestly Alice should have said? Stop the crap with your Happy New Year. What's happy about it? If you were not happy yesterday, the same way you were miserable at 11:59 is the same way you're still miserable at 12:01. Nothing has changed. Your attitude is the same, your mood is the same, and your circumstances are the same. The only thing that is different is the calendar year. Other than that, there is nothing new." Then she goes on to say, "You're trying to tell me that if you had a fight with someone that night, suddenly you'll have forgotten about it after midnight? No way! You're still mad!" Sometimes I think my mom was never really a fan of Disney, because for us Disney fans, we know that, everything changed for Cinderella at midnight, But we both laughed about it, and I was laughing to the point that I was crying, and she asked me what's so funny, and I was like, "Mom, you're talking about this with such a in your voice. It's as if you've experienced this recently," and she just started laughing even more. And now I'll give you a little insider about my mom. If you're talking to her and you ask her something, and she asks you why you're asking, and then she goes on to laugh, one of two things is happening. It means that there is a story there, but you will never know the story. She will never tell you. So whatever happened at New Year's, I have no idea. But whatever happened, I'll never know. But I just know it had my mom, dying in laughter with me. So we continue talking, and we talk all about, the other episodes that I had done and shared with her in the past. Now, a quick backstory for you. Honestly, Alice was designed to be a YouTube channel, and summer of 2015, so weird, last year summertime, I embarked on that journey. I would film episodes, I would edit them, I would send them to my mom, and she would help me, revise the topics or point out things that I needed to change. However, my downfall is editing, since it's not my strong point, so the videos weren't coming out, the way I wanted them to. And in many failed attempts and frustration, honestly, Alice was put on hold. I just needed to regain my confidence and drive to start again. Then a few months later, in church, I go to the Brooklyn Tabernacle, and Pastor Cymbala quoted Zechariah 4:10, which says, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin, to see the plumb line in Zerubbabel's hand." And then he gave the example of his granddaughter learning how to crawl, except she was only crawling backwards. But that was still progress. But then, get this. Before you can walk, you have to crawl. Before you can run, you have to jog. Before you can sprint, you have to run. Right? And I kid you not, after this service was done, you can ask Elliot, who plays the bass guitar at the church. I went up to him and I said, I got just what I needed from God. Yes, I may not have the perfect videos, but I have to start somewhere. I was so pumped. I was ready to go. Honestly, Alice was coming back. Then a few weeks later, I spoke to one of my friends, Gio, who is a life coach, motivational speaker, and author who wrote this life-changing, and I kid you not, life-changing book called The Thirst is Real. And as I was telling him that I wanted to launch Honestly Alice, I told him, editing still isn't my strong point, and he mentioned, why don't you just start a podcast? And voila, we're here, and these are my small beginnings. Okay, so back to my conversation with my mom. So she was referring to the original episodes that I had sent her, which were meant to be for YouTube, where I spoke about regular topics, but I had a different and punchy perspective that would cause people to listen. And as she was talking, I started thinking about why we were so happy to conform to society. Were there some of my friends that were afraid to say, "Alice, your first episode, it was okay. I know you can do better," or were they just afraid of hurting my feelings? Society tells us that we have to be nice and we have to sugarcoat things, beat around the bush, but whatever you do, do not, and I mean do not, be honest. But the funniest thing is we absolutely enjoy seeing people fail at something they should have never been doing in the first place because, no one was ever honest with them. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. When it's time for American Idols or America's Got Talent, you're most focused and excited about the auditions, not to hear the people who are talented. No. You actually want to see the people who have clearly been lied to that they have a talent. And how do you spot them? These are the ones that, they will start off with a camera shot of them in line. Then they'll go into their story of who the person is, how they discovered their talent. Then the best part is, these people, they actually have cheerleaders. They'll either mention their cheerleaders or their cheerleaders will be there with them. And then, their cheerleaders will tell them that they have what it takes to make it. So the scene is set. And the next thing is you see them walking into the audition room, greeting the judges. Then it's showtime.
Okay, what are you going to sing for us?
My own version of Alexander Burke, Hallelujah.
Oh, great. Okay, good luck.
Yeah! Major the baffled key, composing. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. She tied you to a kitchen chair. She broke a foam and she cut your hair. I'm froze. It's not so one. You see the light. It's a cold. It's a broken. Hallelujah. Yeah. Hallelujah. Oh
yeah. But instead of being left speechless and astonished, you find yourself crying from laughter because they're so terrible. Like, who lied to them? Whose names is this? Oh my god. Okay. I'll actually share the YouTube clip because you guys need to see this. It's so, oh my god, it's just, okay. But in all honesty, these people, they don't have, people around them that love them, because if they did, they would just say, no. Don't ever sing again. I'm sorry. You just just don't. Singing is not for you. Just no. That's not your talent. You're an entertainer. You could try stand-up comedy or something else. Just never sing. And then to make it worse, these shows, they will then make a compilation of all the terrible talent that comes to audition. And, God bless you to not piss your pants, because you begin to wonder, how do they even get this far in auditions? I'm seeing you on a national level, to make it worse, international level. It's terrible. Why can't we just be honest? Why can't we just tell them you can't sing? No, we can't, because society tells us that honesty is overrated and it's not welcome. But someone has to stop this madness. But don't worry, Alice is here. And I'm not afraid to bust your non-existent talent bubble. Sweetie pie, someone has to tell you, and if your friends won't, I will. I really will. But we all conform to society because we never really tell people how we feel. Why? Because somewhere in our lives we're taught, never say how you feel. Okay, here's an example. If I make plans with you and you cancel on me last minute to go on a date with a guy that just texted you literally hours ago, society tells me that, I have to say, oh, no worries, let's reschedule. Alice says, nope, I'm calling BS because, what? I don't want to say no worries. I want to say this is doo-doo, pure doo-doo. How dare you cancel on me for some dude that you just met yesterday? Hashtag, he's gonna waste your time 2016. If you don't know what that is, just go into Twitter or Facebook and put in the hashtag waste your time 2016. We've made these plans for months, and then you just want to drop me for some boy? Woo, no. Yo, I am pissed. I am heated. I'm so angry. But most of you are not brave enough to say that. You'll just say, no worries. And then guess what? You end up brewing in your own bitterness with added salt. A lot of salt. So, you end up having a grudge with that friend, and instead of being happy when they tell you about their successful date, you're just super salty and you don't want to hear anything about it, you know. But you're not mad at them. You are mad at yourself because you took their feelings into consideration more than your own. Like, why can't we be like kids? Say what you need to say and let people deal with their own feelings. Think about it. If you've ever babysat or listened to a child-adult conversation, they're the most candid yet honest conversations ever. They will be quick to tell you, you can't sit with us, this food is bad, or we don't like you. They just don't care how you feel. They're just being honest. Because as kids, we raise our kids to tell us how you feel. When you're hungry, tell me. When you're upset, tell me. When you're sick, show me where it hurts. But somewhere in the process of growing up, we lost that honesty and we started covering things up with fluff. You know, we no longer tell that friend they hurt us or that we don't like their new boyfriend. No. Society suddenly tells us, stop caring about how you feel and care more for the feelings of others to the detriment of your own feelings. Now, you may have been through this or have heard through this, but you have a friend and they speak so highly about their boyfriend, and then they build up of this image of who he is, and then you end up, getting really excited to meet them, and when you do, you just know that they are bad news. And how do you know? Because you felt it in your gut. And one thing I've learned is your gut will never lie to you, because it's clearly received the energy this boyfriend has given you, and it just isn't sitting right with you. So when your friend asks you, what do you think? You say, oh, he's all right, which is equivalent to my mom saying, it's okay. But you actually want to say, sweetie pie, this guy is bad news. He is the definition of wasting your time 2016. You don't want any of that, But we're grown-ups here, right? Why can't I just tell you what I need to tell you, not what you need to hear, and then you can deal with your own feelings? Now, I'm not saying be rude and disrespectful. You have to tell them in love. Tell them like a mother would. The same way how my mother told me that my episode was okay. Just tell them in a way where you're not crushing them, but you're building them up. Tell me what I need to know, and I will deal with my own feelings. Because by me telling my friend he's all right, guess what? You're signing, or correction, I'm signing myself up for an earful of just utter mess. Because you know what? It's only going to be a matter of time before the same friend will come crying to me or venting to me, because they'll feel misled by the guy or he's hurt them. Like, he's bound to mess up in the near future. And the worst thing about it is, I could have prevented it. I really could have. But, no, I didn't. Why? Because I was too afraid to tell her. So I just let her walk in a bad situation. And then I ended up hearing about it. Okay. That, guys, we need to stop that. Just tell her. Tell her this guy's bad news, She may hate you at that particular moment in time and not want to talk to you because, oh my gosh, but he's so cute and so this and so that. But you're a friend with her for a reason, just be honest with her. And if she doesn't respect that honesty, then, well, maybe she got to go. But then, also, you don't want to mistake honesty for jealousy. If this is the guy that you like as well, then I think you may want to keep your mouth shut. But, we're talking like you don't like this guy, just generally. But, let me ask you this, Are you doing something that you're not naturally good at, but you're wanting to do it because that's what you believe your passion is? Okay. If you don't get what I'm saying, I'll help you figure it out. So my mom has this really great self-discovery test that she uses to help people discover their natural talent. You know what? We'll actually do it right now, together. So, I will need you to get a pen and paper, and you're going to try this out with me. If you don't have any, I need you to pause this podcast and go get some. Alright? Now, I need you to write your name. Just write your name. Wasn't that easy? Okay, now write it with the other hand. Okay. See, I was one of those lucky kids with a 5-letter name. I always felt bad for like Elizabeths and like Merediths and Zipporahs. You all just had really, really long names. You know, I'm sorry. And I say this hoping that those long named people have actually spelled out just your first name. You know, as Africans we have like very long names, and I'm not going into any of that. Okay, so you've managed to write your name with one hand and the other hand. But just look at it and you can see a difference. One is very clear and easy to read, and you could possibly do this with your eyes closed, no thoughts needed. But the other, you actually needed to pay full attention. You know, I needed to write out my A-L-I-C-E. I needed to actually pay attention when I was spelling out Alice. In both cases, you see my name, but as I said before, one is clearer than the other. The same concept can be applied to your life and to your career. You know, are you in a job where it takes you longer than everyone else to get your assignments done? And even when they're done, you still have multiple edits to do before you can produce the final product? Or are you in a career where you are handed a project that should take 2 weeks to complete, but you complete it in a week because you are naturally gifted at your craft? Well, everyone has their place, and for as long as you conform to society that may tell you, no, Alice, you shouldn't write with your dominant hand. You know, write with your left hand. Make your left hand stronger. Don't use your right hand. Sorry to say this, guys, but you'll always be behind, because what you're doing with your left hand, somebody else is doing with their right hand, and you will never get the recognition because, yeah, you're doing the same work, but the quality of work is so evident, and they'll end up progressing and getting way better. You know, it's like when people will say, well, how comes so-and-so is a good cook, and like I went to culinary school. You can get all the training you want, but not if you're not naturally good at it. Does not matter how trained you are. You're going to have to work 10 times harder than somebody who didn't need to get trained. You know, I'm just saying. You know, but where are you in your life right now? You know, what are you doing? Are you doing something that you're naturally good at and you're dominant with, or are you doing something where you have to actively remind yourself to check for the errors and notice that you are still lagging behind? You know, so society is telling you one thing, but you know, honestly, Alice is saying be bold. You know, walk out in faith and use your dominant hand. No, in whatever it is, you know. There's no need to be afraid, because fear is simply false evidence appearing real. Now, my challenge to you is this. Will you continue to conform to society? Will you keep suppressing your feelings for the comfort of others? Will you keep sugarcoating things and blatantly lying to your friend that they can make it as a rapper, when everyone and their mama knows that they have no chance of making it as being a rapper, but you know, they'll be the laughing stock? Or will you silence society and step out with your dominant hand and pursue your dreams? You know, whatever it is, my only prayer for you is that you will be bold and courageous enough to be honest to others and yourself, but most importantly, that your dreams become your reality. Hey, I'm just here to keep it real with you because I'm honestly Alice, Thanks for listening, guys. May your dreams become your reality, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye!